Hello, and welcome to Tuesday Talks with Mom. I'm Tera Myers, and I am so glad you're here. As part of Moms on a Mission, we're empowering moms across the country to stand up and advocate for their children's educational freedom. As a mom of an adult son with Down syndrome, I've walked this road, navigating the school system and fighting for the right to choose the best education for my child. And now I'm here to share that journey with you. Every 2 weeks, we'll sit down with different moms from around the country and provide thoughtful advice and share our experiences. Together, we're building a community of moms who are finding their voices, taking action, and making a difference. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Mom.
In this special Mother's Day episode of Tuesday Talks with Mom, Tera, Becki, and Clarice discuss what it means to be a mom.
Who wants to start?
Well, I'll tell you what, as probably the older of the bunch mom, I think for me, being a mom is the greatest calling I think that someone can have. Whether you birthed that child, whether you adopted that child, whether you took them in out of necessity, I think whether it's the neighbor girl or boy down the street who just needs somebody to fill a gap or fill a space, even an older child that is maybe a new mom themselves, and you come alongside because they don't have a mom anymore or they don't have anybody in their space. I think being a mom is a great calling, and I think it's a mentorship opportunity. It's a leadership role. It's a soul caring, and the hardest, most rewarding, most underpaid experience of my life, but I wouldn't trade it for any other career aspiration. I think I think that's what it means to be me, to be a mom.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, it is the most joyful, challenging, sometimes devastating. The range of emotions, I just don't even have the words to describe it. And it's not always exactly what you anticipate. Like you think, like
That's right.
I've been thinking about being a mom ever since I can remember, with my baby dolls and
Mhm.
babysitting and all that. And I look at where I am today as a mom, and this is not where I thought I would be. But I, it's so much more fulfilling than I had any idea it would be.
Great.
And to come behind you, stellar moms, and to share what I think being a mom is. I think it is the greatest blessing of my entire life. I think wrapped in being a mom comes stretching of who you are as an individual, as a person, that it expounds your love and your forgiveness and your understanding of the world. It lets you know the fortitude and the makeup that you have, depending upon what challenges come forward for your kids. And it causes you to stretch yourself and to become a better individual because you realize that you have children who are looking up to you, who consider you their first and primary examples. And so I take motherhood very seriously. I believe that being a mom, and again, being a mom does not necessarily mean that you are always physically birthing a child, even though I've been blessed to be able to do that. But also being a mom to a child that I did not birth, but not diminishing my role as mother in any capacity because I didn't birth her. She is my daughter and will always be my daughter, regardless of if she came through my womb or not, because she and I are connected in heart, soul, mind, body, and spirit. And so, for mothers that may not have physically birthed a child, I want you to understand that you matter just as much as any other mother who may have carried one in their womb, and that children's worlds are different when they have moms who care. And that's why I'm glad to be a mom.
That's right. I think that when you think about motherhood and there's no end to it, when you become a mom, you're always a mom. Being a mom, your emotional state, it's all over the gamut, and you raise them to promote yourself out of your role. And yet that's so hard because you never really do. You don't ever get, you said it, Clarice, you're connected in body, mind, soul. You never stop caring. And they can bring you to your knees, and they can melt you like butter with their words, or they can cut you.
Yes.
Hmm. Yep.
And you have to get to a point where you have to stand back and let them cut you, or let them move on into troubled waters. And sometimes, you hope that they come back and say, I still need your help, or maybe they don't. But the reality of it is you never, ever, ever stop being a mother. And greatest calling. And Becki, I remember my dolls. That's all I ever wanted to be, was a mom when I
Yeah.
was growing up, and to stay home with them. And I was really blessed, uh, even through hard times, even through really, really meager times. Motherhood, and my faith always got me through. I think God just sits up there and laughs at me.
He
I
definitely laughing at
And
me.
me too.
He's, yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
definitely laughing.
he's scratching his head going, doggone it, woman. But, I was teasing. I talked to a group of moms and I said, when people would tell me that they didn't have an instruction manual, and one time an older mother said, oh, no, the book of Proverbs is your instruction manual. And it has 31 chapters in it. And when that was a game changer for me as a young mom, reading through that, I'm like, oh, today's the 16th. And I would read, and it seemed like there was always a helping of instruction for me, because you don't feel like you come equipped. So you need wisdom. You
Hmm.
need wisdom.
Definitely do.
Uh,
You definitely do. I didn't,
yeah.
I didn't start out with, okay, my aspiration was to be a mom. My aspiration, I always wanted to just be a teacher. And
Oh,
I didn't realize that in being a mom, you also are a teacher. And
yes.
so I appreciate thinking about motherhood and how moms are teachers, that we are our
Yes.
children's first teachers. We are the first classroom that they will ever be in, and we get the opportunity to set the foundation for them. And so I
Yes.
think moms are children's first educators, and therefore we know what's best educationally for our kids because we set the foundation.
Hmm. We know them.
Absolutely. Yes. We know them better than anybody else, what makes
Hmm.
them tick, and all the things. And so, yes, being able to determine what would be best for them academically and, in other areas of life as they're growing up. I don't know about you guys. I was a stricter mom. I tried really hard, and they would say, so and so, and I'd say, well, I'm not your friend yet. When you become an adult, I would love to be your friend. But right now I'm your mother, and
Yes.
I'm making decisions that I think will be best for you, because I want you to live and experience every single year of your life for the time that you're given that year of your life. So I don't want you to turn 7 until you've fully lived 6, and vice versa, on the way down the
Mhm.
line. And boy, I took a lot of heat for that, and I don't regret it. I don't. I mean, I'm happy for the other moms. I'm happy for those kids that grew up faster. And I told him, I said, when you become a mom, you can make your
Hmm.
decisions. And I don't regret a one. I don't. So I just, it's hard. Mothering is so hard, but it's so worth it.
I
Well,
agree with you. I was the same, and I would tell my daughter, I still tell my son this to this day. I said there are some decisions that I have made as your mother that you may not have understood, and one day it will probably make sense to you, and
Right.
and hopefully you'll come back like your sister did. This is what I told my son.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll come back like your sister did when she became older. She said, "Mom, I didn't get it while I was going through it while I was younger, but I understand why you made the decisions and why you told me no and why you didn't let me just go to anybody's house that I wanted to, and why when I did go to somebody's house that you didn't know about, you showed up and you
Yes,
came
ma'am.
and got me.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And she understood that that was love, because love corrects, and
Mhm.
sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but that's a part of being a mom as well, is that we have to protect our kids, even sometimes to our detriment, where we appear to be the bad guy, or mom's mean or mom's strict, like Tara said. I think we have to own those hard roles sometimes, to protect our babies.
Mhm.
And I would never ever regret doing anything I've ever done, to protect my children.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, and I gotta say this because it's Moms on a Mission and it's Mother's Day, and Becki and Tara both know. Becky knows what I'm about to say,
I
right?
know exactly where you're going with this.
Because we right here. I said one of my favorite lines from the movie Enough is, I have a divine animal right to protect my offspring when it comes to my kids, and I will do that.
Mhm.
I had to say it.
Love it. Love it.
I had to say it.
Well, I think happy Mother's Day to all the moms
Happy
out
Mother's
there.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. And God bless you all.
Yes.
Yes.
And do not grow weary in raising those children. You will not regret it. Do not grow weary. Remember,
And
I used to tell my children, I get one chance to get you to adulthood. I get one chance.
Mhm.
And I can't give up just because you don't like it. I get one chance and I will. I'm not a quitter. And so I would tell them, you could try to beat me down, but I am not a quitter. I will win. And I don't look good in orange.
or because at the end of the day, you know what? As moms, when we parent, what we are
Yes.
saying, we are putting the best of us
Yes.
forward in the world
Mhm.
to help contribute to a more just, a more fair, a more loving, a more forgiving
Yes.
society. And so
Yes.
what we bring forth is important. And that's why our roles are so important. It creates the
Absolutely.
society that we have, futuristically.
Yes. And the sometimes I would say to my children, um, you may hate me now, but you're going to love me later. And I said, these decisions are tough, but I want you to one day stand up. And I remember just a short time back, a young mom came to me and she said, I watched you raise your children, and I'm now raising my children. And she said, you've got great adults. And I said, you couldn't pay me a bigger paycheck than to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, and
So,
and I'll tell you, I said, it means a lot." And she said, "I don't think you knew that I was watching you, but I was." And I remember her as a young gal, and I tell you, that was a great reward. Just knowing that you're also influencing not only your children as a mother, but all those young folks around you that are preparing to be mothers or that may one day be mothers. They're taking notes.
yeah, they definitely are. And another thing, motherhood is a journey. I mean, your role changes as your children grow up. And I thought, once my son went to college, I was like, hey, yeah, I have done my big one, right? I did it. And I thought I was good.
No,
No, no, it's not over. I mean, I didn't think it was over permanently, but I just
no, but
thought it was just, you know,
the
but
vacation was coming. You thought the
yeah,
vacation was coming.
I
No,
thought, I thought I was on vacation. And no,
there's no vacation. Yeah. It's a long journey. And I've said to my children many a times, I said, listen, I'm not perfect. I have gotten so many things wrong. But I have kept in business an entire industry of counselors. And without my imperfections, that whole business, now you've got something to definitely get your money's worth when you go and speak to those folks. So, you know what? I've done
I
the
just,
best
I
I
wasn't
could.
expecting that, Tara. You just don't know.
I can't tell you how many times I told them that. I said, listen, they would jump all over me. You did this, or you yelled, or you did that. And I said, listen, try as I may, I'm not perfect, but I'm keeping an entire industry in business. So now you've got something to go and talk to them about. I said, let's be healthy about this.
Oh God.
And
At
my
least
daughter,
I'm not alone, honey. Okay,
that's
because I have met my equal in Tara, honey. Because they're like, oh my God, here comes my mother. My kids would literally say,
oh
"You
yeah,
don't want my mom to come," and I
oh my
would
son
say,
said it.
"You don't want me to come."
You don't. When I come, look out, and they'll tell you. Some of those teachers at the school be like, "Oh, here comes Mrs. Myers." But the girls would have friends over, and the friends, I would hear them. I'll never forget this one. We're coming back from a practice, and the girls were in the back seat, and I could hear the friends say, now just let's beg your mom, just beg her, just beg her. And my youngest daughter said, oh no, 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 we don't beg. Beggars get nothing in our house. Do not beg my mother. And they knew that. I said, and I read that, and I remember just being a young mom. That little one was just a year old, and my hands were full. And I read this book, and it said, say what you mean what you say,
Mhm.
and be consistent, because your children will remember when you lie to them, intentionally or unintentionally. And I have to say that that is probably the number one parenting hack that I was given, was say what you mean what you say, because they're going to know whether or not they can trust you. And they did. And there they were, teenagers sitting in the back of the seat. And they said, if my mom says it, she meant it. And do not beg, because it's not going to happen. And I remember sitting up there thinking, oh my gosh, they took notes.
Yeah, they do listen sometimes. They do
Yeah.
listen. And that's
Do.
the
Thank
thing
you.
my son said. He said, my mom doesn't lie to me.
Yeah, that's
And I
right.
heard him say that to somebody. And I appreciated that, because I'm like, I don't. You know,
No.
I don't. Some conversations are hard,
Mhm.
Yes,
but I practice not lying to anybody.
that's
But
right.
most importantly, never to my kids.
Yeah.
Never.
And following through. You know,
Yes.
one thing that I read somewhere early on was don't say something that you can't follow through with. And
That's right.
that's really impactful, because I'm not going to threaten something if I'm not actually going to go through it, because that's the same as not telling the truth.
That's right.
Yeah,
And it's that
absolutely.
whole thing. If you do this, I'm going to do that. You better be prepared, because
Hmm.
I sometimes got myself in a pickle, Becky, with that. If I said it, I had to carry it out.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'm like, doggone, I don't want to administer this punishment, but by golly, I spoke it into being. I must carry it through. And sometimes I'd have to go back and say, I'm so sorry. And I did spank my children, and I'd have to say, I'm so sorry, but you're getting the spanking because I told you, and you did it, and we're done. And I will say, and this is not to be haughty or anything. I had three great children. They were a little sassy. Those girls, man, they could run me around the tree. Oh, Lord
Wonder
have
where
mercy.
they got that
I
from.
don't know. Clarice, girl,
Hey,
there's
I got it back with mine too, honey. My
I'm
mother and
telling you
father
what.
always told me, "You're gonna get it back," and I did.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, but they're good children and good adults. So I'm just so proud of them, and I tell them that all the time. I'm so proud of you.
I'm
So
so proud of my kids as well. I do want to say this to moms though, sometimes, because this happened just the other day. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I had to share with her. I said sometimes moms don't get it right, and
right,
sometimes, as much as we love our kids, and with the best of intentions,
that's
sometimes
right.
we do things that can hurt our kids, and
Yes,
sometimes we don't do everything right. And what a good mother will always do is show their children how to apologize by
yes,
apologizing when they're wrong.
yes.
And sometimes, even as parents, we have to say to our kids,
I'm
I
sorry.
missed the mark. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I should have handled that better. I should have responded better. Um, if there's something that I've done to hurt you or harm you in any way, I'm not talking about child abuse, But if
Right.
it's something that, you may have done to your kid or your child interpreted that because they're human beings and they have feelings, apologize and
Yes.
give them the opportunity to share with you what they feel. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, when they become adults
Mhm.
and this circle of life comes full circle, they're probably going to be the ones that you depend on to take care of you or to help you as you become seasoned, I like to call it. So, um,
Yeah.
apologizing is good for everybody, including moms.
My mom did a good job with that after we would get in trouble. She would come in and talk to us about it. And I tried really hard. Didn't always get it right, but I tried really hard to do that with my children. Even with Samuel, who didn't always understand. Um, but yes, to say, this hurt me, um, and just as much as it hurt you, and I'm sorry that we had the disagreement or that we had the argument. So yeah, that's a hard one, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary because we're not perfect.
No.
It's hard.
Yep. And when you have a rough day or a not so good day, just know that with breath in your body, you have another opportunity to get it right.
That's
And
right.
this is a lifelong journey. Your children are blessings,
Yeah,
and all the transitions and seasons in their life, there's always a gift for you and for them. And
Hmm.
so, I again, the greatest blessing ever is being a mom.
that's right. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.